So the trailer for Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee got revealed a couple hours ago, and I watched it, and I'm probably gonna skip these ones. Not not particularly interesting. I've been talking on Twitter and in just regular conversations. Maybe if you have been watching my 3D World collab with Dan, you've heard me complaining a bit about this. Getting a little sick of Pokemon. And it's not doing a whole lot to mix things up. These are not Gen 8. They are a holdover until Gen 8 comes in the end of 2019 next year. And instead they are kind of a mixture, one part Switch, one part Pokemon Go integration. I still play Pokemon Go for about 2 minutes every day to keep my streak. Although an Executor just started spawning. So the thing about Pokemon Go is it's not very interesting to play. I say that having not actually done any of the combat. I just got the Executor. Like the actual gameplay, not particularly compelling. The act of catching Pokemon, pretty simplified compared to the mainstream games. Basically, throw a particular berry at them to make them easier to catch, or make them settle down, or increase the number of candies you get from them. And then you throw a regular or great or an Ultra Ball at them. And you try to do it with good timing to get in the middle of the circle. And these new games have decided, okay, we're going to adopt that Pokemon catching style into a more mainline game. Which I suppose I've seen it argued that this is meant to be kind of a bridge game to help people who have become interested once again in the franchise, thanks to Pokemon Go, kind of bridge the gap for them to the mainline games. Retain the same style of catching Pokemon from Go, but introduce the more complex battle system for trainer battles, so that they will, when 2019 rolls around and Gen 8 comes out, they will be able to have more fun with Gen 8 without being overwhelmed. And you know what? That's a valid interpretation of this mechanical choice for someone who has been playing the game for over 20 years and has gotten pretty sick of the standard formula. Simplifying it does not make me more interested. Making things less complex and less engaging does not make me want to play the game. It makes me want to see what they come up with for Gen 8 and see if it's any better than what they came up with for Gen 7. Which was alright the first time and boring as hell on the second go-around. Why does this Executor have question mark CP? I wonder if it's a Ditto or something. So that's my main thought. That argument, that interpretation of why they're doing the simpler catching system kind of allies with the rationale that they might have for going back to Kanto. They want to appeal to older folks, maybe folks my age or older, who played the original Gen 1 games and then fell off, and they want to go back for nostalgia. No, that was just a regular Executor. Okay, I don't know. Which, I mean, okay, fair enough if they want to go back to Gen 1ers. It's not like they've been doing that since 2013 with X and Y. Mega Evolutions were basically an attempt to get Gen 1ers back on board. Alolan Forms were another attempt to get Gen 1ers back on board. And now they finally managed to do it with Pokemon Go, and they're trying to bring them back over and move some units. As someone who isn't a diehard Gen 1 enthusiast, I don't know if that's a strategy that will work. It might. Switch is very popular. I could absolutely understand the Gen 1er mindset of maybe, hey, Nintendo was a cool thing back in the day. They seem like they still got it. Sure, let's go for it. Maybe. But this feels like a game that is not marketed towards someone like me, and that's okay. Not every Pokemon game has to be marketed towards a longtime fan. I just hope that they do make games that have something interesting in them once in a while, because it's been a while since I did that. I've seen some complaints about the art style. I think the art style looks fine. My main concern right now, as always, as it has been since Gen 6, is performance. In terms of like hardware performance, they have not done well on like frame rate and stability. Gen 7 did nothing better. So I'm hoping with the increased power of the Switch, they will actually make the game for the hardware that they are putting it on. I didn't notice any frame rate drops in the trailer, which is an encouraging sign. Because in previous trailers for previous games, they have actually bothered me quite a bit by putting frame rate drops in the trailers, which is not a good way to market yourself. You may notice I have a sore throat. That's because I have a sore throat. The one thing that did appeal to me about these trailers is that it showed customization options, dressing up your Pikachu or Eevee. I mean, that's cool. That's definitely cool. It's not enough for me to buy a $60 Switch game, especially after, frankly, the customization options in Sun and Moon were pretty bad compared to X and Y, so I don't necessarily trust that they would have a good outfit catalog. And heck, I don't know if looking at Pokemon Go, here's my outfit in Pokemon Go. I haven't changed it in a long time. I got the Mimikyu hat when that came out, and before that it was like a Magikarp hat, and it just hasn't changed because there aren't many options. I'm afraid that's kind of what we would get with the Pikachu and Eevee customization options, in that we just wouldn't get very many. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Unless they come up with some really brilliant in a future trailer, I'm probably going to skip these ones and see what they come up with for Gen 8. So...